Ian Murray, I'm a bit confused as to where the Labour Party obliterated in the last general election, let's face it, in Scotland. Where do you now stand in this? Are you bystanders? Are you the one spectator?
No, we're on the same side as the Scottish people. We don't want a second independence referendum. We don't think the Scottish Parliament should have made that decision today. It's the wrong decision at the wrong time for the wrong reasons. And we have to remember that the Scottish National Party get out of bed every single day to try and deliver independence. So they were always going to look for a trigger to bring forward this particular vote. You don't compound
but it's
the uncertainties of Brexit.
You can't sit on the sidelines saying it's the wrong decision. It's the elected Parliament, with the Greens' help, I grant you, but they've reached the decision, and that's that.
Well, the elected Parliament also voted to ban fracking, which the SNP government decided not to do. The elected Parliament voted to restore Highlands and Islands enterprise, which the Scottish Government have decided not to do. There's been 6 occasions in the last 6 months where the Scottish Government has been defeated in the Parliament, and they decided to disregard that. They only like parliamentary democracy when it suits. The Scottish people have said quite clearly in 2014, by 55 to 45 to stay in the UK, and there hasn't been a single movement in that particular result,
taking those
even
statistics,
post-Brexit.
You're absolutely right, of course, on those stats. How, therefore, do you stop Nicola Sturgeon? Who have you got? Ruth Davison's your best hope.
Well, look, this is about being on the side of the Scottish people. This should come from the Scottish people. Nicola Sturgeon and Patrick Harvie, leader of the Greens, always talked about bringing forward a second independence referendum if it was the will of the Scottish people. They've now changed that to the will of the Scottish Parliament because they know that the Scottish people don't want this. Poll after poll after poll says that about 2/3 of Scottish people do not want a second independence referendum now, and nothing's moved post-Brexit in terms of yes and no. So we're firmly on the side of the Scottish people here, determined to deliver what they voted for.
Which you've said, but let me put that to Stephen Gethins. He's quite right. Poll after poll after poll, to quote his words, does show the Scottish people do not want independence, and it ain't moving.
Well, wait a minute. The last time that the Scottish people went to the polls was resulted in a Scottish parliamentary election where the SNP got the greatest constituency share of the vote of any party since the establishment of devolution.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm talking about straight independence polls. They show, and Ian Murray's right, poll after poll shows the Scots don't want it.
I think, no, poll after poll has shown that actually there was a slight, I think it was 51% of polls showing people that wanted it, and actually he's right, maybe there's 50-50. But the best way to find out if people want independence is to put it to a referendum. Now, look, big change is coming to people in Scotland, whether you like it or not. Right. Or either we're going to be dragged out of the EU with devastating consequences to jobs, to the economy, to opportunities for young people, or we choose an independence vote and to have a closer relationship with our partners in Europe and a normal relationship with our partners in the UK.
There's a key
final word, Ian Murray. Let me just put you on the spot on this one. Who have you got? Is it just a case of wheeling out Gordon Brown again from Kirkcaldy? Who's going to lead your campaign?
Well, Kezia Dugdale has been very firm on this. She's said that we don't want a second independence referendum. She's saying she wants to do the things that the Scottish people want, and that's getting public services back on track and using the powers of the Scottish Parliament. But can I just pick Stephen Gethins up on one thing that he said
very briefly.
He now no longer commits to EU membership. He said close relations with the EU. So the choice for the Scottish people and the SNP want is Scotland to be out of the UK and out of the EU. That's the choice that he's offering the Scottish people. It's the wrong
Can I pick up on that? Ian Murray is grasping at straws. I'm firmly committed, and the SNP is firmly committed to EU party membership. More firmly committed than the Labour Party are.
On that note, we'll have to call time. It is going to be a marathon campaign. I think we all agree on that, and we are into it whether we like it or not.